Hey guys and girls, and welcome back to Greatest Good Tarot. Hope you're doing well, keeping out of mischief, blah blah flappity flap. Welcome back. Yes, it's been so long. I take a week away and I think the whole world's going to collapse. Well, my little one, not the whole world. It's just my little kind of like, is everything going to be all right? Is everything going to be good? Turn out, be fine. We had a few power issues because for the long-term people, we're off-grid, blah, blah, blah. Everything's powered by solar, blah, blah, blah. The great storm caused mischief. So when we got back, that was a little bit kind of, we're in the dark. But we just had to flick a few switches and then it came back on. And it's like, phew. It was nice. So I don't know what caused it because we weren't here, but it's fine. It's working. It's all good. That's why I can talk to you, beautiful people. There's so many things to catch up on. We were near Monmouth. Monmouth? No, that's the place. Monmouth. Like Forest of Dean, that sort of area. So the fact that we left. And then, literally within 12 hours, the great storm came in and has flooded out the beautiful people there. Wow, it's just like we were literally there. But anyway, I hope they're doing well. And like the insurance people actually pay out and all that jazz and all that malarkey. But it's just like it was a bit of a because it was happening while we were traveling. To visit family and all that kind of stuff up north. Basically it was a situation where we didn't realise how bad things were getting or had got behind us in our wake, as it were, until we got there. It was like flipping heck. We were literally just, it was, but yeah, beautiful people. One thing I have noticed on my travels this week in different regions of the country and stuff like that is, and it has been there for a while, but it really kind of showed up, if that's a word and phrase. Can you tell I'm out of sorts? I haven't done this for so long. Oh dear. Is the lack of ownership of the local community. Especially when I would ask local, like shopkeepers and stuff like that. Oh, we're dirty tourists. It always starts that. We're dirty tourists. We're visiting for a bit. Where would you suggest? Is there anything interesting? Or is there kind of like a secret nugget of something or other? And they would all do the same thing. Crinkled face. Oh, no, there's not really much around here and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, all right. Okay. But there is. I've seen a leaflet before I'd asked you. I thought I'd get the inside scoop. Each time it was like, oh no, there isn't really. And it's a shame, really, where there's been this disconnect with the local community and their local inhabitants, as it were, their local town, their local villages, beautiful places, beautiful with my foreign dirty tourist eyes, gorgeous places, just a little rundown, just like it just needs a little help, a little like nudge, a little kind of coordinated kind of something, and it would be amazing. We went to a town, gorgeous town, beautiful town. Like architecture, like chef kiss. Mwah. Even the charity shops were closing down, and it's like, what? That's just like, it's weird. What's going on? Because, like, for me, with my foreign eyes, obviously, I'd be there like going, you should big this place up. You should big this place up, kind of like. Try and invest or encourage local knick-knacky sort of kind of specialist shops, maybe something that would encourage tourists in that kind of, and then just market it. You know what I mean? Just like, look at us, lads. We're bohemian and different and something unique over here. Come on, you're going to miss out if you don't come and visit. That kind of thing. Yeah. No, No. And it even had one of those, I'm sorry, I'm just literally going through the slideshow of my holidays snaps. But it even had one of those, those marketplaces. I know, yeah, square. Yeah, all right. But one of those kind of ancient ones where it's covered and it's got the columns and it's like the town hall, as it were, is on the top, on the first floor. And then underneath, it's kind of like a sheltered market area. One of them from like 14 something or other. I even had one of them. And it was like gorgeous, and the local like shops hadn't been obliterated by modernisation, and it like they still had the Victorian kind of craftsmanship of like the wooden window kind of seals with engravings and stuff. And it was like that kind of texture to it, and it was like, this is amazing. You don't even know what you're sitting on, kind of thing, you know. So this is why I thought I'd start off with my adventures. I even went to York for a bit. That was nice. Never been to York. Never been. I have now, obviously, because I'm telling you. But even there with the play, what was that called? Shambles. Gorgeous, like full of tourists and TikTokers and all that kind of bloody flipping Instagram, like self-centered sausages. Anyway, getting in the way of me walking my dog, having a look around, being dirty tourist. However, it just amazed me that like certain areas there was ownership, but not even in York, not owned by, from my brief start, like when I was there, by the people that were there. It's more owned by the tourism trade. Do you see what I mean? They're like kind of going up to an ideal. So I thought I'd check in, kind of spiritual check in with the UK. I normally do this off, like every time I go away, or like Fesmas, New Year, that kind of stuff. I always do kind of like a spiritual check-in of the UK, and I thought I'd do this publicly because I was just drawn to do it, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it for like this one time. I'm gonna do a spiritual check-in to see how this goes, how this, how it is, that kind of stuff. And then go from there, and then go back to your beautiful suggestions in the comments while I've been away. And also, before I get into this, Kay, my darling, my love, who suggested the Jack the Ripper reading. Oh, you meanie. I pre-recorded stuff for last week. That was at like, I've had that in the can for like a week and a half. And for now, I can finally talk about the week and a half has been a nightmare before it was released. And I was hoping in the comments, people were like, oh, you're talking about so-and-so and what's his face and that kind of thing, and tie it all together. And there has been some of that, and I thank you for that. But like, I've been on a deep dive on kind of different sausagey kind of suspects and things. And what I found is that a lot of them, they're talking about where the backgrounds and where they went to and how they arrived in the local location and all that kind of stuff. But very few of them talk about what happened to them after. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but that's because what I was focusing on is like kind of going to like away from it, being kind of discreetly kind of disposed of, as it were, in these different locations. And it's, yeah, fascinating. Anyway. You've got me hooked, woman. You've got me hooked. Anyway, let's have a spiritual check-in on this. I'll slurp some coffee as I go through, as I always. And, yeah. Let's hope for the best, shall we? So here we go. One more. There we go. Lovely. Glorious. So, intuition with the High Priestess. I think this is just kind of like a generic, it's coming across as a generic kind of something doesn't smell right energy by us lot. We know something's off. Nothing makes sense. Like that, this constant, what we keep talking on the channel, this third option that no one asks for. Keep plummeting up and all that. That's what we've got here. Interesting that we've come out first. Queen of Cups. This feels like a facade, though. Almost like a swan. Everything's fine on top, scurrying away at the bottom. That kind of energy. King of Pentacles. 7 of Cups. That's definitely us, you and me. Okay. Queen of Cups feels like middle management for some reason. Like maybe county councils, kind of jobs worthy sort of people. Everything's fine. It may not just be county councils. It may be like police and ambulance services and stuff. I'm not the front line. Like I said, middle management, numpties, jobs worthy sort of energy there. King of Pentacles. I don't recognize that energy just yet. Notice how, because we always look at the pretty pictures, don't we, my dears? Queen of Cups is looking towards this leadership. 7 of Cups. This is Labour. I don't know who that is, but this is basically Labour. They're kind of, how do we get out of this? Yeah. Looking for leadership. There is no leadership. Desperation over here. Right. So, but this is definitely middle management for someone or something or someplace. Because notice that we're looking the other direction. Not the wrong direction, the other direction. We're kind of facing where we actually want as a society, as a majority, where we want to head. Yeah, we're already out there. We're already kind of moving and grooving. Notice how, is it a dung beetle? Probably, I don't know. Very anchored. Yeah. In their ideals, in their whoever this is. This does not feel like Stuttery Starmer. He normally turns up as a king of wands. Queen of Cups, though, is looking for leadership, and there ain't none. Desperations, possibility. The 7 of Cups feels like it's more in its reverse state, where it's almost like the blind leading the blind, almost kind of. It's almost like a desperation. Almost like what's the word I'm looking for? BS is what came through. Well, it was the full thing came through, but it's BS. You know, spin doctor type thing. Anything to get out. We know that, right? So, Page of Wands. This is my Googling card. In this instance, it feels like it's a one-way street. Like the local councils are finally doing their research, and like I said, it feels more just middle management in general. But it is, that energy here feels very much like a localized management. If that makes any sense. So it would be like like the local NHS trust is doing research and realizing where people are at. The local police service, if you can call them that, are doing their research and realizing where people are actually at. You know, that kind of energy. It's definitely local, regional kind of. But it feels very much like synchronized. It's not a decree to do it. It's like desperate. This feels a bit desperate over here as well, but because they've been following almost like the Pied Piper over here, and now it's like, hold on, let's do it. This doesn't marry this. We're doing research now. Why you need to do research? 5 of Cups falling out. There we go. Justice. You reap what you sow. Just pummeled through, just like punched me in the middle of the face. You reap what you sow. Wow. It's interesting that both the Phoenix and the Justice are both looking at this falling out here. So like I was saying before, I put down the Five of Cups. What this relationship is saying between them and what this is coming out as is two different things. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. We could have told them that. Now this lot know. Yeah? We are... It's interesting that we've only turned up once as the collective, as the population. And all of this is just internal nonsense. Right. Taking a leap of faith. Okay. The Fool card. Messenger. Messenger is one of the 4 extra cards in this deck. But normally it means that your spiritual team, your angels, archangels, guides, ascended masters, whatever you want to call them, spirit animals, blah, 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 are around you at this time. You may be seeing synchronicities and signs to say that they're around, white feathers, that kind of thing, repeating numbers. Just say that so that you can call upon them for protection and you are protected and all that kind of stuff. However, this feels like protecting, because it feels in its, because this is normally a spiritual card, but this feels like kind of belief structure away from God's spirit universe, so like a manifesto. So it's almost as if they're protecting the core team and then letting everybody else as in like fodder. I don't think it's going to work though. For some reason, it doesn't feel like it's 8 of Wands. Oh wow, quick. So whatever's happening over here, like I said, we have only turned up once and that's it. Everybody else, the whole infrastructure is collapsing. Because the numbers don't lie. Like, there is no consent, as it were. There is no admiration for it. There is no, like, come on, lads, let's go, kind of thing. I don't want to call it an echo chamber, because that would almost imply that we're disconnected in that respect. We know what's going on, obviously. But we're not being dragged down by it, which I really like. We've kind of disconnected here. There is definitely a huge kind of uncoupling. And this feels like they're all frantically kind of like trying to keep control, power, money, influence. But it does feel like they're gonna throw a lot of kind of lowerlings, if you get me, under the bus to keep everything else on track. And with the 8 of Wands, I think we're going to see a lot of it almost feels like unreal changes. Like this week, they're all, I know it's politics and stuff like that as an example, but this week they like certain people seem, they have full confidence in everyone. And then all of a sudden they're all thrown under the bus and they're all kind of discarded and they're all kind of used and abused and released and that kind of thing. It's that kind of energy. Because up here they feel like they're dead weight. They're, yeah, overarching energy, the topsy-turvy of the 2 of Pentacles there. Underlying energy, strength, control. This is literally what we were talking about, wasn't it? Kind of trying to bring it all back on track, keeping control, trying to keep us back under the hood, that kind of thing. Just to illustrate it a little more, I'm not just saying, I don't think it's just this, it's multiple areas, but perfect example to illustrate this would be people stop paying the license fee of the BBC, as an example. What was it? 2 million of them are stopped now, or whatever it is. 1 million, 2 million. It's quite a lot. It's that kind of energy. All this scrabbling are going on here, but the disconnect has happened. The trust is broken. I'm being reminded here about what we've been talking about for a couple of months now, of where it's not just clearing out the figureheads. It's clearing out the back staff. It's clearing out their support network. It's clearing out all those. I was going to say influencers, but it's not. What is the word I'm looking for? Not the tag-alongs, but the ones that put them on the pedestals. Yeah, the Sweeney McSweeney types and all that kind of stuff, and their minions and all that kind of thing. I will get one of them right eventually. I always get Sweeney McSweeney wrong. Okay, one is obviously in Scotland, one is obviously in London. But off the top of my head, it's just like, I think Sweeney's in London. Maybe that's just racist because obviously McSweeney, it's Scotland. Maybe that's right. I don't know. It's too many of them. But it's one of those situations where, if you notice, no one's happy, even internally. There's this desperation. You know what? I would almost call this a blame game. If you notice that all the main characters here, even though the protection from the messenger is trying to move forward in the wrong direction, everyone's bickering with each other. Oh, it's your fault. Oh, if you did that. Oh, if you done that. Oh, it's Tories. Oh, it's 14 years of failure. Blah, 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 blah. Well, you knew what you were going into. Everything. Do you remember everything was, there was plans and everything was fully costed? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? I know it's a blur. Everything. I just, it's while I was away, it was like, everything was fully costed. Everything was planned. I thought you had plans. That's what you told everyone. So, I picked up the wrong one for some reason. Yeah, it's a mistake. I've been told. Shut up. Anyway, let's get the prediction deck out. See, I've been away for a week and it all goes to pot. 10 days for me. It's been a week for you. Look at us, kind of like mixing the bag. Or is it 9 days? I don't know. It was everything was out of sync last week. For me to pre-record, everything was out of order. I was like, by the time I was ready to go, I was ready to go. You know what I mean? I was like, I need sleep. I am worn out to buggery. However, instead of talking about the YouTube things, do the YouTube things like subscribe, like, thank you very much for both of those. Hype if you can. Thank you so much indeed. All that jazz. Instead of doing all that, I finally had, while I was having a walk around a sculpture trail in the Forest of Dean, I wasn't by myself. I had people, lots of people, many people, and a dog. And during that kind of disconnect for a bit and looking at each piece and going, but is it art? That kind of, pompous shenanigans. I don't know what that noise is either. Oh, wow. Cool, I haven't had one of them for a long time. Throat chakra just went boom. I had a download. I had a kind of like a little epiphany about the courses, the spiritual teachings, that kind of stuff. Because for the long-time viewers and all that, I've been bashing on about these for, it must be 18 months now, 2 years. And I've been trying to find a way to um, like the structure of them, yeah. The how do you develop it so everyone understands like there's a path to follow, and like as you continue, you're like leveling up the previous stuff. It's not repeating the same subject. It's building upon the subject that we've already established, like previous, that kind of thing. How does that? Because it was. I would get a certain way in, and then previous ways of the construction of it that I thought, I'll base it on this, or I'll base it on that course I went on like years ago, that I've still got like a few of the pamphlets still around, that kind of thing. And I'm looking at, we could structure it like this and all that, and it always fall apart. Always kind of like there would be one glaring like stupidity moment, and it would like everything would crumble and burn, and it was like, So, but I had an epiphany. I realised where I was going wrong while I was away. And I think I'm not going to say that we're definite, but I think we finally, the royal Muggins here, me, I think I finally cracked it. I think I finally kind of worked out why it was complicated to construct in the first place, and that kind of thing. And hopefully the stuff, because I've been producing stuff to try and hook into the previous different versions of it, and it's been re-edited and redone and redoed and blah, 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 stuff, reasons, blah, blah, blah. So I'm hoping the stuff I've already worked on, like I said, for about 2 years, or, I can restructure again to then like fit the new way of doing things. And I hope it's going to work, because since I've had the download, isn't it always the way? Since I've had the download, I had the kind of the spiritual slap of, you're being a numpty. It's this way, you donut. In the middle of the Forest of Dean. I've seen it everywhere. It's a shape, right? It's a shape, and I keep seeing the shape now. And maybe it's one of those ones where it's like, I wasn't paying attention, and now it's like it's everywhere. When you buy a car and you haven't seen it for, like, you don't normally see it, and then since you've bought the car or sold the car, you see the car everywhere. It's that kind of thing. I don't know if it's that or not. I don't know, but it's like I'm taking them as kind of confirmations that we're on the right track. And I saw it in York. I saw it in while I was away in Wales. After I had the epiphany, I've seen it of all things since I've come back. You get recommended on YouTube and stuff like that. I've even seen it in a drawing tutorial, which I don't normally do drawing tutorials, but it looked interesting. One of those shorts, YouTube short things. And I watched it, and it was like plodding along. I was like, that's an interesting way of doing that piece of art. That's quite nice. And then they went, well, this is the technique to do it. And then there is the shape again. And I'm like, so it's not even on the icon or the thumbnail. It's inside, and it's there again. And I'm like, now you're being cheeky. Now you're just showing off. Anyone else have those sorts of things? Or it's just me? I don't know. Anyway, let's get the gossip and then the outcome at the end, as always. Let's have the gossip of this situation. Thank you. UK spiritual check-in. Right. I'm hoping to get more on us, if you get me. So, let's go. Experiment test. Ooh, I like that. Because obviously we're following our intuition. We're tuned in. And now we're seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. What if we did this, like this national conversation, as it were? I like that, because it's kind of got the energy of of like conversations are happening that would not normally happen because it would have been outsourced like previously. Ownership of the community and stuff like this. It's fascinating that's come up here as well. But it's like normally that would be outsourced and these munchkins over here would have done it. Now we're having the conversations. It feels like we're even bypassing obviously mainstream media and all that kind of stuff. So it's even kind of it's a situation where like more than ever media, the national conversation, all that kind of stuff is so separate, so completely disconnected that it doesn't even reflect that. Like I said, that all this are talking to themselves. We're over there, kind of thing. Hiding. Oh dear. That feels like the bunker of Downing Street. Duties keep quiet. The like 28 people who want to like take over from Starmer. 7 of Cups returns to normal. They're trying to get it back on track for them. It's not going to happen though. It's just, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Yeah, we're the genie. We can't put back in the bottle. We've awoken up here. And that's the pressure rising with the rising water there. 5 of Cups, heavy burdens. Yes, they can't return to normal. They want to. They want to get back so like the gravy train can continue. It's finished. It's broken. It's a broken toy. Ooh. Planned outcome. It's not that I don't like that energy. I'm a bit more confused by that energy. Because it's not connected to any of those up there. It's this may be Farage, reform, that kind of thing. Now the conversation has started. Now the real conversations have started. I've been saying for decades that if we were going to get back on track in some way, shape or form, we'd need to kind of throw out everything that Blair ever did before it was kind of mainstream. Yeah? So the fact that it's like, it's even being talked about is phenomenal because very quickly, I know, but very quickly, the thing to remember when Blair did the human rights malarkey and then later on ECHR and that kind of thing, the thing to remember is that almost like America, in fact, it's based upon us, you and I here in the UK had God-given rights, common law, these are our babies, our things. This is us. You can't take them away, as it were. And as soon as the Human Rights Act came in, the shift was, the main shift is that instead of God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, birthrights, whatever, that was trumped upon and pummeled upon by the Human Rights Act that decreed from government what rights you had. So before they were birthright, God-given rights, get out of the way, you're not involved, blah, blah, blah. And then since Blair, that's why this huge change came around. Since Blair, there was this massive change into we now decree what rights you have. Okay, that's the big difference. The biggest, hugest difference. Just to think, from the, you always had the right to sexuality and all that kind of stuff, orientation, blah blah blah. You always had that. Okay, I know some people like back in the 60s and 70s and was it Darlington and like ladies and all that. I get it, right? Equal pay, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But as broad strokes, kind of overall, they were dealt with by society, you and me, not dealt with by government. Government could only, and Parliament could only decree like certain, like basic rules. Okay, compared to the amount of the wealth of power, and I know this is a very weighty word now, and it's been manipulated in multiple ways. But you know, there was a sovereignty about individuals, God-given, birthright, whatever you want to call it. That was how it was until Blair flipped the table to the point where, and even EU flipped it even more, where it's decreed to you what you can and cannot do, and what rights you have and have not. And that's the important thing here, what you have and have not. And this is where you get to the places where there are, court cases and things where, like Lucy Connolly, where there is a straw man argument. There's no evidence. It's based on theory. It's based on it could possibly incite. Not that it did. It could possibly. Some people may have been offended. Not that they were. Do you see what I'm saying? That all comes back to that flip. So the fact that we're even talking about it, and there's like multitudes of this legislation that needs to get out of the way. It all comes down to this. They're now finally the conversations that are being had. Yeah. The Fool card. Change is coming. Yes. Leap of faith. Change is coming. We're getting there, baby. Messenger. They're compromised. Yep. So even though they think they're protected, they think they're like, we'll just get the lower ones, you know, throw them under the bus as we were talking about. Now it's like everyone's compromised. You're all as bad as each other. Yeah. 8 of Wands. Big news. There we go. So we got the big changes coming. Controlled puppets. Yes. I don't know why I did the plural, but yeah. Tech, AI. I think this is mainly social media. They thought they could still have control over it. They could, the narratives, that kind of stuff. It's built too big. That's why now Ofcom's trying to control it. Too little, too late. But it's that kind of energy. Technology stumped them. They didn't think it would get this bad. Right. Excellent. I'm still very puzzled, just between you and me, right? That we've only turned up in that corner, and we're still only turning up in that corner. And the rest of the reading's interesting. Heavy burdens, they can't get out of it. The conversations now can be had. The calling people racist and this, that, and the other because of like immigration and things, blah, blah, blah. That can't be used anymore, even though they still try. They haven't got to the program, you know, all this kind of stuff. More heavy burdens, blah, blah, blah. So, but it's interesting that we're only up here. And that has got a really interesting, like, potential energy about it, in the sense that it's almost like, will we, like, the masses start questioning even more profound things? That's what this is the kind of energy around that, and I'm really intrigued by that. Very nosy about that, to be honest with you. And this is the sort of thing why I wanted to do this reading in the public domain, as it were. Up to this point, like I said, I always do these privately. I always kind of like just tap into how things are going, that kind of stuff. But the fact that we're now going to the outcome, that and it's that kind of lovely, tingly, warm energy over there, that potential there, I'm really intrigued by, that really excited by. So the outcome to this reading, please. The outcome to this reading, please. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Tum. Oh, and by the way, there's over, I believe, over 800 comments that have come in over the week while I've been away. So I will try. I will try to get through as many of them as possible and reply and all that kind of stuff. So don't hate me if I can't. But yeah, it's just one of those things. So, but I do like love them and try and read as many as possible and that kind of thing. So, right. Yeah, I think this is ready now. You know what? I'm going to have a slurp of coffee. I promised myself a slurp of coffee. I'm just like slowly but surely, cheers, my dears. Getting myself back into it, that kind of stuff. I should have had a biscuit or something. Maybe a nice bit of shortbread. Oh, nice bit of shortbread. Oh, maybe a bit of a dunk. Oh, cheers, my dears. Oh, lovely. So, this is fascinating. Let's do this. Defending their ground. That's changed. Ace of Cups. Oh, so there's going to be some sort of... I was almost going to call it a frog march then, but I did. There is going to like a real push, and what the glow up, I'm going to call it. I know, right? Sorry, but whatever this is over here between like you and me, the wider population, that kind of thing, defending their ground. No, we like this. We like this. This hashtag high vibe malarkey, whatever you want to call it. This leveling up energetically that people have worked through. They want to protect it. But there is this olive branch, chariot, determination, burdened though. They know the change has happened. They can't return to normal. It's too much of a... This feels like... maybe it's because of, Game of Thrones and stuff, but this feels very much like they're in the keep, they're in the castle, they've got the drawbridge up, I ain't going anywhere, walking people, don't you know who I am, walking people. That kind of energy, yeah? And this olive branch kind of thing, it's like, it's not working, not listening. I don't think it's just Stuttery Starmer. I think Kemi is in a... Now, where's Kemi? Where's she come from all of a sudden? She's got like a personality. She's making jokes. She's like reading the room, actually knowing what like... It's only take... Wow. It's good for her. Too little, too late, in my humble opinion, but good for her. It just feels like this is like on bombardment. This doesn't feel like just from, like I said, from Stuttery Starmer. This feels like local elections. This feels like mayors. This feels like police, like I said, ambulances, NHS Trust, all the like these olive branches of like, oh, we've listened, working people. Patronising, working people. Don't want any of it. Defending their ground. No. We want more control back. Thank you very much. This reminds me, just before we get anywhere else, I'm sorry, but this reminds me of, who was the numpty? The Disney, sorry, history done by Disney. Disney, I Want My Mummy, Robin Hood, King John. This is the oh my God, I finally got King John and now the rest of it's gone. This is the signature of that thing that everyone should know and have it tattooed on them. And I've gone. It begins with an M. MG, isn't it? Magna Carta, not G. There we go. It's that kind of energy to this. What's going on here? That kind of shift, that kind of change, that kind of, we're keeping our control, thank you very much. You come to us now, leveling up kind of energy. Hermit. This is two ways. It's them kind of being rejected. Oh crap, we need to think. Like the barricade kind of energy. The bunker that we had hiding underground. And in the castle, I suppose, it's the same thing in some respects. Reflecting, that kind of thing, on both sides, it feels like. I'm liking the fact that we've moved a bit closer. I'm not saying we're moving towards each other on these two parties. I mean, like I said, these are multiple, but it feels like the expansion that I was talking about right at the beginning of this level, where it's like, now what? Now we've woken up, as it were. Now that we're like expanding, experimenting with ideas, having those conversations that weren't allowed down the pubs. Because obviously each pub was, it's basically, I've always thought, like their own parliament. People having a chit chat. Oh, what about this? What? And like ideas flourished in a respectful way. And that was shut down. And then obviously the pub shut down and all that kind of thing. And now that it's like that kind of energy coming back now. Public discourse. And now it's the reflection of now what? That expand. I hope that there's that level up there spiritually as well. Heavy burdens, the strength to try and control it. We had that underlying energy over here, didn't we? The strength trying to control. Still, notice that this is before it was circle. Now it's pushed back a bit because this is a half and half. Defending their ground again. Wounded warrior trying to do something, anything. This feels very much like a pincer movement. So, like the planned outcome here, the conversations are now finally allowed to be had, reform, etc. Pints in this way, you and me kind of, and the population pints in this way, all kind of marrying in the middle kind of thing. But this feels very much more spiritual as well. There is this, the thing is, and I've said this as I hit my headphones, as you do. I am so out of it today. It is like trying to get back into, after just a week, I've just completely forgotten how to do basic things of this. So I apologize now. If you've reached this far, I am sorry. However, it's got the energy here. And I've said this months ago, years ago, like using Daddy Elon Musk as an example back then, because his mind is wired slightly differently, isn't he? He's not good, not bad. I'm just saying it's wired differently. So he comes of it more of a kind of science-based approach. So he would, as an example, call a download, an aha moment, inspiration, kind of like God inspired, that kind of thing. He would call that intuition, his intuition. His language is different. It's the same thing ultimately, but his approach would be more clinical, if you get me. The same thing's happening. He's being inspired, he's being pushed and nudged in the right direction, but it's a different approach, different language. That's what I'm getting here. I, like, as the reader, not reading into the cards here, just to review them. Oh, I think that was a robin. Oh, it's whether or not society pushes to the next level. If you get me, acknowledging and realizing these downloads, this inspiration, this aha moments, whatever you want to call it, light bulb moments, whether or not that threshold is finally bridged, where a majority of people suddenly realize, actual fact, this is spiritually not kind of intuition. Yeah. Clinical, if you get me. But I have slight high hopes. Slight, as we're going along here with the Hermit card. So, King of Cups. Notice that she's more determined than the previous Queen of Cups, sorry. She was trying to get other people's approval, looking for the what to do, how to do it, that kind of thing. Looking for leadership. This feels like a very different offer with empathy. There's definitely empathy here. There's definite... it feels like a rebalancing of some description. But I'm very confused because the energy with it is... It's a rebalancing, but the volume is still at 11. I hope that makes sense. It feels the intensity is very strong. But it feels like there is, an empathy, comfort, like almost like a grounding emotionally. Sun card, happiest card in the deck. Do you see what I mean? This feels as if this could be the leveling up that I was talking about, but like the intensity, like for example the protests or / riots, whatever you want to call them, yeah. The intensity is still at 11, yeah. Defending the ground, still 11, yeah. We're not changing. You're the ones that need to change. You work for us. That kind of rebalancing that we're talking about here. This reframing, I suppose. See what I mean? Because normally the Queen of Cups is very like chill, calm, relaxed. Yeah, comfortable in their skin, hunky dory. But that, like I said, there's an intensity to it. I love the fact that we've got the Sun card, happiest card in the deck. Happy, happy, joy, joy. No wonder they're buggered. Notice how I've been bitching. You may have noticed. I don't know. It was very subtle. But like we're only staying in that corner, and now we've slowly but surely marched down here. This feels like this is just generally an outcome. Happy, happy, joy, joy. This strength, this control, this determination here in the middle is now being surrounded by feeling comfortable. The intensity's up. Yeah, the illumination, happy, happy, joy, joy. It's been like them lot are being pushed into the corner. Final card. Wow. 10 of Cups. Happily ever after. Wow. That is sneaky buggers. That is amazing down here. I like that. Thieves in the night energy, obviously. Betrayal. Deceit, manipulation. This feels like the higher guard that we were talking about. What is it, down here somewhere, where they were trying to just throw the lowerlings under the bus. This feels like them trying to escape, but they're burdened. They're stuck. They can't. Their fingerprints are all over it for some reason. Wow, we've got the 10 there as well. So, yeah, surrounded by I think that's the problem. Is the evidence surrounds them. Everything has been ruined. Everything is being ruined. Everything is like, so the only thing we can do is escape. We can, get away, that kind of thing. We've got a pension plan, blah, blah, blah. But it's like this feels like filing cabinets. I suppose I'll put it that way as well. It feels like filing cabinets. It's like the evidence, the folders, the data is all there. Their signature. I keep coming back to that. Several months now. their signatures on the paperwork. They gave the approval. It's minuted that they were the ones that did it. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of stuff. There's so much evidence there. So I like this. I really do like this turning point here. And I'm really quite excited about where this development grows. Yeah. Like I said, this feels like Control Freak. If this is more upside down kind of thing, kind of desperation, trying to keep control kind of energy from this lot. This is not from us, you and me. But it's interesting that we've also got, we've got 5 cards, this rebalancing that I kept going, and there's 5 cards, or 4.5 cards for us. This kind of structuring. I like it. I like this a lot. I'm really excited about where this is going because I'm really. How long we're in? Oh my God, it's going forever. I'm so sorry. I didn't even look at the time of this reading. Oh, I keep hitting my. You know when you haven't had, like, maybe you don't. When you haven't worn headphones for a while. And obviously they extend out the side of your face. I keep whacking them on the back of the head, like the back of the headrest of the chair, and all that stupidity. I'm just rubbish at my job. Any blinky lights at the end where I know where they are. But there we go. It's amazing what a week does, isn't it? So, I like this. I do like this a lot. Let's use these. Wealthy man. Okay. Death. Okay. Male. Courtship. Underlying energy. Bad health. This feels like it's going back to the those weird alliances that we were talking about previously, like Labour, Lib Dem. They're all basically the same. Greens. They're just like crazy, kind of the same thing. Has anyone else noticed? Because obviously on holiday every so often, come back from the bar and just like not too many, obviously, but just like coming back from the eating out or something. And just winding down before bed, just catching up on a few things on the iPad, and it's just like, you remember the progressivism, and all that kind of stuff. And before I left, it was like alarm bells, kind of like every time someone says that or labels themselves as that or whatever, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, which means more control, doubling down. What's happening is what they want to happen, and they want more of it. They're all progressing in the same direction. This feels like a deal that is not going to go and happen now. There was some sort of let's just use Lib Dems and Labour for example. It's like there was going to be some sort of partnership, possible coalition. That's why the Lib Dems and Labour have a big old love-in every Wednesday during PMQs, because they're basically the same. Basically, broad strokes, they're exactly the same, just different colour. And so this feels very strongly like this alliance is dying, because they always had the backup plan in the back pocket. And now with the death of all this happening up here, this wealthy man, I just think, is just Stuttery Starmer Labour in general. Feels like they're trying to be independent. Lib Dems, as an example, Greens, for example, they're all trying to like, you're the bad smell, but the project still needs to continue, kind of thing. But this, let me just do 2 more. I know that's just going to be bad health, yeah. And then we've got change, yeah. Underlying energy now. Mature man, yeah. It's basically, it's a huge situation where the even the usual alliances don't work anymore. And this is going back to like the clearing out. Yeah. The clearing out of the figureheads, the office staff, the civil servants that have allowed this to happen and continue to do it, and basically are in their own world, it feels like, and seems like, and is reported like they seem to operate on their own kind of their own different system. There's even stories, which is interesting, that this repeated story is that certain ministers, they think they've got levers to pull, and it turns out that the cables have been cut, yeah, for trying to do control and things. That keeps being brought up in the last 3 weeks, I want to say, something like that, in certain reports of media, different sides of the media. Almost trying to make it out as if Labour aren't in control, but they want to be in control, which I don't think is working very well personally. Or the other way of, because this also was said with people like Liz Truss and other kind of Tories have also spoken out about this from memory about a year ago, 8 months ago. Liz Truss is still talking about it, but it's like the blob, as it were, is its own entity, and you realise that even though you're elected to do certain things, you can't do anything because all the control has been outsourced by Tony Blair to all these quangos, or they run independently, or everything's independent. So there's no oversight, is basically what you're saying. There's no accountability, is what you're saying. Like the BBC. You see what I mean? It's all comes back to Blair and Brown, and making the Bank of England independent and all that kind of, because it would but they just run their own roost, and they've got complete control, and they've got what's the worst thing, I think personally, is briefing creep. Yeah, they're always creeping to get more control in their own area, so that they can't be got rid of, basically. And this is more and more control creep. So I think we're going to leave it there. But the point, what I'm saying, is that the mature man feels like the apparatus, the civil servants, OBR, OBS, blah, 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 Bank of England, etc., BBC, the power has moved to this lot. So this alliance is dead, bad health, and because of it, they don't want to be involved in it. They don't want to stink, but the change is still here. This is why I wanted this extra card, because the change refers back to us defending our ground. The question is, do we, as a collective, break into spiritual growth? Does it get to a point where it naturally evolves? Which, if we were went to the what was it called, the 3i Atlas Comet thing, last week, that I pre-recorded the week before. We were talking about then, where was it? February, was it, off the top of my head? February, March sort of time, when it's going back out, because it's going around the sun at the moment, when it's going back out of the solar system towards kind of Jupiter, Saturn kind of area. By that point, massive change would happen. I think this is what this is all connected by. That sort of... this is just power just by name only at this point. And I mean that not just for Labour, and not just Tories or councils or police or NHS or whatever. It's across the board. It feels like power by name only. Yeah. Because, and I'm so sorry, but I'll finish off this because it's just downloaded and it's a little bit kind of thing. Because you would think that if there was an issue with the police, but the NHS was working because extra billions every year and blah blah blah. That the NHS was kind of shining beacon of how things could be, and the police need reform. Do you see what I'm saying? Or certain councils would be better than others, but they all seem to be the same crap. The NHS police, from an outsider's point of view, all seem to be the same crap. Is it me, or is the only kind of positive department that feedback comes from, of all places, is the post office? And not the post office, the passport office. Has anyone else noticed that? It seems to be like this lovely rare beacon of of excellence happening. And it's do you see what I mean? You would think there'll be more passport offices doing a sterling job. Yeah, just showing up other people. But it seems to be like that is the only, from what I hear, I haven't needed a passport in a while, but from what I'm hearing, other people need renewals and that kind of thing. It's just yep. Straight away. It's just phenomenal. And like I said, if it wasn't, and I think this is the biggest issue here, is like, because it's all crap, apart from the part, as aforementioned, it seems like you're as bad as each other. You've got nothing to show for it. You've got nothing to do. You should be like the passport office. You should be. That is your standard that you need to meet, kind of thing. And for the Disney adults amongst you, right? All the others, just as a metaphor, continue. All the others are like the parks that seem to be falling apart and not working and all that kind of stuff. And for you lot, what it seems to, what I keep hearing, is that the passport office is Disney Cruise Line, the beacon that just seems to work perfectly well in every which way, and all the other is crap. And the movies are rubbish. It's like Freaky Friday, Who Asked for Another spin-off of that, and all that, all that crap, right? And there's this one beacon that keeps on chugging, and that is like, I hope at some point, somewhere, most people have got the metaphor on that. It's the one thing that keeps on chugging. That's this beacon. Yeah, I think that is the biggest change here. Is a full, almost restart of the whole infrastructure. The one thing they don't want to do. The one thing they really don't want to do. But if it doesn't work, as we all know, you've got to turn it off and turn it back on again. And on that bombshell, I'll leave it here. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for your kind words. Wishing that I had a good week away and time with her indoors, and that was lovely and very, very kind indeed. I even got a smooch. I know. I was shocked as well. But there were snuggles and everything. It was perverted, sitting in the forest, sitting looking at views under a balcony, watching the rain. It was lovely and it was sickening. And like if you were a kid, you'd be like, get a room. It was like, it's basically like, that's very lovely. It was much needed. However, until next time, where we do this crazy shenanigans all over again, take care. Look after yourself. Be well. And thank you for your company. I'll speak to you soon. See you later. Ta-ra.